Hello and welcome to Edison TV. Today I'm joined by Carl Herberger, Chief Executive Officer at Corero Networks. Carrero Networks supplies adaptive and real-time protection against distributed denial-of-service attacks. So this is technology that keeps your websites running, keeps your networks going without interruption. Carl, many thanks for joining me again today.
It's a pleasure, Dan.
And can we start by, I guess, refreshing the audience in terms of what a distributed denial-of-service attack is and why this is such a growing problem for enterprises and institutions today?
Yeah, DDoS is what people commonly refer to it as, is really a category of attacks that deal with resource exhaustion. It's a technical way that hackers or purveyors of hacktivists that try to shut down resources on the internet so that you can't operate. And there's all sorts of motives around it. It could be sometimes crime, sometimes it's just political, sometimes it's economic, geopolitical, sometimes it's actually military. This is one of the top 2 attack types in the world, and it's extremely different than the classic ransomware that people think about. In fact, ransomware protections will not protect you from cyber attacks that lead to operational resiliency problems. This is a lot like swarms of drones as opposed to precision artillery or something along those lines. The technical pieces are incredibly varied, and there's kind of no end to the attack types. And no matter what people have thought about DDoS from a year gone by or even 2 years gone by, everything continues to evolve. And the attacks have never been bigger, more effective, easier to be able to manufacture, and harder to defend.
And so your product has some unique selling points. Can you explain what those are?
Dan, as you know, I've been at the helm of Carrerero for a couple of years, coming most notably from a competitor where I ran the portfolio for 10 years. So I know the space quite well. And I can tell you one of the most amazing aspects that's unique to Carrero is that of the major providers in the world that do DDoS or cyber attack resiliency, we are the only company that's ever started out to just solve this problem. All the other providers that are out there, and there's a number of them, they have all come from different heritage, different products, and often entered the adjacency somewhat disabled by using and leveraging their current portfolio platforms. As a result, we have entered a world of tremendous, powerful exceptions that are meaningful to a customer that results in them being able to buy protections in the way that they want to buy versus having to have to go to a platform or a specific kind of hardware in order to address these needs. So Carrero's software only. We're agnostic to the platforms. We can deploy almost anywhere at scale, at small enterprise, at large scales, at the largest of scales that you could possibly imagine. And we're very unique in that we are the fastest and highest reporting tool out there. So when it comes to our world, being able to see the problem is key. And we have more telemetry capability than any other provider that's out there. And lastly, we will manage the entire solution for you. Nobody else in this space, for all sorts of reasons, has taken on the privilege to manage this for you. So we're a total turnkey, if you'd like it to be.
Right. And it seems as if the market is now recognizing that in much more volume. And looking at 2025, it's very much a year of 2 halves. You had some, I guess, changes in dynamics that influenced H1, but you really came through in H2 very strongly.
Yeah, that's
Can you
true.
talk through the dynamics?
The dynamics change. 2025 was a very interesting year, tale of 2 cities in some ways. But I guess that would be the outside looking in. From my perspective, the prospects of the business have never been better. What you had in the first half it would be as if you were a manufacturer of let's say, very large planes, and that kind of in a quick period of time, your buyers went from paying the planes up front to leasing the planes. And with our gear, with our software, you have a tradition that's gone back for decades where people normally procure the software up front. And that tradition has now been changing pretty fast to more of an OPEX model, if you will, a credit card model, a leasing model. So what we had was nice, robust sales in the first half, but we had a change in our mix that was represented by 70% of our mix now being recurring revenue, or OPEX. And that had a knock-on effect on our revenue and our EBITDA, just essentially because we're recognizing less revenue in the near term. But the company had beautiful 20+% growth on recurring revenue in the first half. As you mentioned, the second half, we adjusted our OPEX associated with the changes in the revenue projections and continued to accelerate sales in the second half. So much so that we've had, I think, an incredible year, a record-breaking year across the board on everything from revenues to ARR growth to EBITDA to cash generation and so forth. And we moved momentum into 2026 for sure. And the most beautiful part about the performance of 2025 was the amount of competitive estates that we replaced. So we are replacing essentially all the world's providers. In 2025, there was not a provider of DDoS that we didn't replace an estate somewhere in the world. So we're not just good for a replacement of one vendor or the other vendor. It appears as though that across the board, people see us as an eligible option.
And partnerships have been a big part of your focus and your go-to-market strategy and strengthening those.
That's right.
You've recently signed a large deal with a European financial services company. What does that tell us about your partner strategy, but also your ability to penetrate enterprises?
The partnerships are foundational to who we are. You know, we have a company of 100 people that wake up every single day thinking about how to address these problems, and we work with our partners in materially commercializing the product. In that partner strategy, we have 3 what we call alliance partners. They're OEM relationships, whereby they maintain our portfolio on their price lists. So Akamai is one of those partners. Juniper Networks, which just got acquired by HPE, and they now changed their names to HPE Networks, and GTT, and they're all wonderfully powerful partners for us. As you mentioned, one of the European banks came through the Akamai relationship, and this was a meaningful bank, the top 5 European bank. And what's really powerful about that, I think you know, Dan, is that banks are no shrinking violets when it comes to sourcing and selecting and understanding and technically testing. And they often procure in packs. So when one bank tends to move in one way, another bank will take notice and see and understand how that was befitting for them. It might be likewise befitting for somebody else. What's very interesting about the European bank was that was procured fundamentally on a new regulation in the EU. So the EU has this new regulation called DORA, the Digital Operational Resiliency Act. And DORA directs critical infrastructure, of which banks are one, but not only. You have tier 1 operators for the internet. You have, of course, electric co-ops and water co-ops and so forth. All critical infrastructure must ensure that they're tending to the resiliency of their cyber operations. And they must do that through many ways. One way is having DDoS protection. And
getting the sales team, the sales engine motoring, that's really been a key initiative for you, key focus for your of your sales. And recently you've strengthened further with a new channel sales hire.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Can you talk through the rationale there?
Yeah, sure. So for about 2 years, we've been focused on making sure that our sales team has great degree of efficacy, right people, right geographies, right partners, right mentality, and honestly, a sense of confidence. So some of this is qualitative, some of this is quantitative. And upon reaching a great degree of efficacy with the deployed sales team, it sets conditions to be able to actually have now a more repeatable, more transaction-based business building upon a partner community. So we took on a search to find a really powerful channel leader that has done this many, many times. We had great candidates, and we selected Michelle McBain is her name. She came on over from, most notably from SonicWall, but she has a long history, including running channels over at Cisco Networks. And she was thrilled to have the opportunity to be able to take on our channel organization. Now, she's building out an organization. It's just not her only. So she'll be employing numerous resources around the world that will be directed upon her. And she comes with an ecosystem and with, frankly, a tribe of people that know her and love her. And we think that that's going to have tremendous knock-on effect on a business.
And the other key, I guess, leg of your growth strategy has been product development, building that, expanding that. And I guess the two key new products are Core and the 400 gig product.
Yeah.
Can you discuss those?
The product innovation that we had last year in Carrerero has been the most robust product innovation I've ever had in my life. And that's not just my comment. The SVP that runs our R&D engineering, who has been at this for also 40 years, lots of different organizations, has also suggested that he's never seen anything like it. So through a combination of fast adoption of AI, and as well as having a really powerful, well-steeped engineering team, we have not only developed 6 new products, but they've all meaningfully added to revenue last year straight away. Now, if I could tell you that I could start a business with one product that, if it's sold in the first year, would indicate runaway success, but we've had 6 products. I could go through them in great detail. The Core portfolio has 4 products underneath it. We have a 400 gig that we released in a hardware version, and then we just released it in a very compelling software version, something we call bare metal version, and it's been selling like like hotcakes. And what you'll see is yet even more innovation in 2026, but the acceptance in the marketplace for what we've produced and the ability for us to go into adjacent markets has just been really well accepted.
So just going back to the performance at the back end of the year, it seems pretty clear to us that you had a really strong Q4. Order book was up 74%, and obviously your ARR increased by 23%. So that obviously sets you up for a strong 2026. From where you see it entering the year and what you've seen in terms of the sales pipeline and so on, what should we be thinking about for 2026?
It was the first quarter we did 8 digits, Stan. So we've had a lot of good fortune coming into the, and as you suggest, we added $5 million of recurring revenue, 23% off of last year, and having $24 million plus or minus heading into the year allows us to have a lot of confidence in the estimates and the consensus estimates that are already in the street for 2026. Moreover, the execution is demonstrating our ability to do more in the space. So whether it be the partnerships executing more effectively, our internal sales force, direct sales force executing more effectively, the investments that we're making in our internal channels organization to be able to have more transactional-based business, with the new product portfolio that provides for more addressable market execution, I think we're laying the conditions for an incredible year.
Looks as if you've got an exciting year ahead, Carl. Many thanks for joining us again today.
Dan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.